Coming up tonight, the end of an era for Gamecock women's basketball.
Later, Major League Baseball's last remaining undefeated team.
And finally, an update on the golf course.
These stories and more on Palmetto State Sports.
From the Blue Ridge Mountains and through the Midlands down to the coast, there's plenty of sports highlights and moments here in South Carolina. There's only one place where you'll catch all the action. This is Palmetto State Sports.
Welcome to Palmetto State Sports. I'm Amanda Baranowski.
And I'm Alexis Gilfillan. Thank you for joining us tonight.
South Carolina baseball beat North Carolina 5-0 last night at Truist Field in Charlotte, and the whole team contributed to the victory.
7 different players recorded a hit, with sophomore outfielder Evan Stone with 2 hits and 1 RBI leading the team. The pitching staff put a combined 9 strikeouts and allowed no walks throughout the entire contest.
The team is back in action tomorrow when they host LSU tomorrow at 7 p.m. Fans can catch the game at Founders Park or on the SEC Network Plus.
And Gamecock softball had a powerful performance on Sunday with a 1-hit game against the Florida Gators.
I'm here at Beckham Field where the South Carolina Gamecocks took on the Florida Gators. Let's see what happened. In a phenomenal performance on defense, pitcher Donnie Goborn led the team to 6 hitless innings with 15 strikeouts. Her no-hitter was unfortunately stopped by Katie Kistler in the top of the 7th inning with a double. But that didn't lower the Gamecocks' spirits. Earlier in the 2nd inning, Gamecock Riley Blampede hit her 5th home run of the season to add to the first run of the scoreboard. Later in the bottom of the 3rd, Blampede hit a double, bringing in Zoe Linnell and Anaya Black, bringing the score to 3-0, where it would stay for the remainder of the game. The South Carolina Gamecocks defeated the Florida Gators by a score of 3-0. They will look for another victory on Thursday away against Alabama. For SGTV Sports, I'm Amanda Baranowski.
Gamecock football landed its newest recruit on Friday in a long battle between the Palmetto State. Blake Franks, the offensive lineman from Greenville High, verbally committed to South Carolina in a high school ceremony. He revealed his commitment wearing Gamecock gear, accompanied by his family wearing garnet and black.
Frank's decision stemmed from his top choices of South Carolina and Clemson from recent months of visits and communications with coaches of the 2 teams. In his recent decision, Franks quoted, "I couldn't see myself going anywhere but South Carolina and feel truly comfortable," end quote. He will join the upcoming class of 2024 recruits if he signs his letter of intent this coming year.
The Gamecock women's basketball 2019 signing class has wrapped up their final season at South Carolina. 4 of the 5 declared their intent to enter the WNBA draft: Aaliyah Boston, Zaya Cook, Bree Beal, and Letitia Amahir. Senior Olivia Thompson will also not be returning for another year of eligibility.
The senior class led the team to an undefeated season up until their loss to Iowa in the Final Four. Here's what Coach Dawn Staley had to say of Boston following the loss and the Freshies' last game.
She's meant everything to our program. She has been the cornerstone of our program for the past 4 years. She elevated us. She raised the standard of how to approach basketball. She's never had a bad day. She's never come into practice sulking. She's always just the person that you saw. So very, very consistent. And I slept very well knowing she was with our program. And I'll sleep well knowing that she's okay and she will definitely make her mark at the next level.
Coming up, SGTV News 4 sports reporter Spencer Ball has the latest on Major League Baseball. Stay tuned.
Major League Baseball action has been underway for almost a week now, and the Tampa Bay Rays are the only undefeated team remaining. They currently sit at 6-0 and have the highest run differential in the league at +31. Another team to keep an eye on is the New York Yankees. It seems like every year the Yankees have the talent to make a deep run in the playoffs, but this year could be different for the Bronx Bombers. They sit at 4-2 right now behind solid play on both sides of the ball. And after his historic season last year, Aaron Judge has picked up right where he left off. He already has 2 home runs and is batting .348 through 6 games. Both the Rays and Yankees are going to make the American League East Division very competitive, and it will be a matchup to watch as the season progresses. The new rule changes that have decreased game time have seen viewership increase to start the season. This is a great trend to see if you're a baseball fan, and this season should just keep getting better. Up next, SGTV News 4 sports reporter Violet Raftery has an update on men's and women's golf.
The 4th-ranked Gamecock women's golf team secured 3rd place in the Wolfpack match play on Tuesday. This is the 9th time the Gamecocks have finished in the top 5 in the regular season and puts them tied for 2nd with the most regular season top 5 finishes in program history. Senior golfer Justine Fornand secured a perfect 3-0 week after her 5-4 victory, and freshman Mia Santorv-Lusand earned her 2nd win of the week. The Gamecocks will be on the road again next week as they head to Birmingham, Alabama for the SEC Championship. I think it is so cool that we have another successful sports team headed to another championship. I mean, it's just so fun to watch.
Yeah, coming off of seeing the women's basketball team go to a championship level tournament and now seeing the golf team also reach the same level, it's so cool to see another sport in this kind of field and this kind of competition.
We've had a lot of successful women's sports this academic year, I guess, after women's soccer went to the SEC tournament as well.
Definitely.
And now the men's golf team traveled to Augusta, Georgia this past Friday for their regular season closer. And after a tough few days, the Gamecocks finished 13th on Sunday. In the opening round on Saturday, the Gamecocks shot 297, led by sophomore Nathan Franks. Sophomore Gene Ziegler made an impressive run in the 2nd round, ending with an even par 72 and 3 birdies. Number 12 ranked Florida dominated the 2nd rounds with their own Fred Bondi taking home the individual title. As the Gamecocks return home, they will begin looking ahead to their SEC championship. The championship will take place on April 19th through the 23rd in St. Simons Island, Georgia. And coming up after the break, we have the Palmetto State calendar. Stay tuned.
Before we go, let's take a look at the Palmetto State's calendar. Starting off with baseball, the 6th-ranked Gamecocks host the 1st-ranked LSU Tigers for a weekend series. Game 1 is tomorrow at 7, Game 2 is Friday at 7, and Game 3 is Saturday at noon. Later in the week, they'll host USC Upstate on Tuesday at 7 p.m.
Over to Clemson baseball, the Tigers head to Florida State. They'll play tomorrow at 8 p.m., Friday at 6 p.m., and Saturday at 2 p.m. To round out their week, they'll head to Georgia on Tuesday for a 7 p.m. first pitch.
And lastly, Coastal Carolina hosts Georgia Southern. They'll play tomorrow at 6, Friday at 6, and Saturday at 1. After that, they'll head to Campbell on Monday at 6 p.m. and on Tuesday for a 4 p.m. game.
Over to softball, the Gamecocks head to Alabama for their weekend series. Game 1 is tomorrow at 7 p.m., Game 2 is Friday at 7 p.m., and the 3rd and final game is Saturday at 2:30 p.m. They finish up their week by hosting Clemson on Tuesday at 6 p.m.
And the Clemson Tigers have a few games to play before they travel to Columbia. They're hosting Furman right now, and this weekend they'll host Florida State. The games against Florida State are tomorrow at 6, Friday at 7, and Saturday at noon.
Finally, the Chanticleer softball team heads to Troy this weekend. They'll play tomorrow at 7 p.m., Friday at 6 p.m., and Saturday at 1 p.m. That's all we have for this week on Palmetto State Sports.
Be sure to follow us on Twitter at SGTV Sports and keep up with all of our content. Be sure to check us out online at sgtvonline.com. For SGTV News First Sports Reporter, I'm Alexis Gilfillan.
And I'm Amanda Baranowski. From all of us here at SGTV, have a great night, Carolina. Forever to thee.